There's nothing better than sitting on the sofa with a freshly made cup of tea. YouTube channel. Got the cup of tea. We're just chilling on the sofa today because we are going to get down to business and I am going to be answering all of your dilemmas, secrets, everything you are too scared to talk about to people that you know. I put out on Instagram, just, you know, Agony Aunt Appleton, as someone called me. So we're just gonna get straight into it. I am going to try and make 2 of these because I got a lot of dilemmas that I do want to get through them all. So I'm probably going to make part 1 and part 2 of answering your dilemmas. But yeah, I'm really excited for this because this is why I literally do this. I just want to give back and make people feel comfortable and confident. So yeah, I'm excited. And I mean, it's the crazy journey of life. We all go through some mad stuff. But just before we get into it, can you please just make sure that you are subscribed and clicking that like button, and if you would like to follow me on TikTok and Instagram as well, it is LucyAppleton21. Right, let's get down to business. Okay, so this girl actually private messaged me because she said the suggestion box on Instagram wasn't big enough. So I'm gonna read out what she said and then we're just gonna get into solving the dilemma for her. So it says, I was talking to a guy in lockdown. I knew he had a girlfriend, but he kept initiating the conversation. One of those. Things were said that shouldn't have been, in brackets, naughty, AA. My feelings grew for him when they shouldn't have. Come December, he just stopped replying to my messages. Oh, ghosted her. Stopped replying to my messages. To make it worse, it's one of my brother's best friends. What do I do? I feel like a whole lot has happened to you and I feel sorry. I mean, number 1, if you knew he had a girlfriend, I'm all about love and you following what you've got to do, but if you knew he had a girlfriend, you probably should have just completely stuck out of it from the beginning. He's a taken man, and although it's his responsibility and he's done wrong, it's also your responsibility. So sorry to have to say, you probably should have just cut it off. Now, I know, obviously, when you do like a boy, obviously, you've said to him, I know you have a girlfriend, but he keeps initiating conversation. You've obviously carried on, you know, and when you do start getting feelings for a boy, you get feelings for them, and you're like, I really like them, and trust me, I know what it's like when you really like someone and you want to talk to them. So, number 1, you should really just cut it off. But number 2, obviously, it's carried on. He's obviously said naughty things, which he definitely shouldn't have. And he's one of your brother's best friends and he's ghosted you. So I feel like because he's called it off, either 1, his girlfriend's found out, or 2, he's just obviously realised what he's doing is wrong, so that's good on his behalf. But definitely I feel like your feelings have obviously been dragged along. It's just an awkward one that you know him, because if you didn't know him, I'd say, well, that's it now, it happened, you have to cut it off. And I'd go through the whole breakup, what you got to do. But because you actually still know him, I would actually just upfront ask. Obviously, I know it's lockdown and you can't, but I would just say to him, like, it doesn't need to get nasty, it doesn't need to get horrible, like blackmailing, like I'm gonna tell your girlfriend and all of this, and I don't know how he is and how he's gonna react. But I think just messaging him in a in a way that's not relationshipy. And just message him saying, look, like, I completely understand everything that happened back end of last year was totally out of order on both of our accounts. Feelings were made on my behalf. Just be totally honest. I am a big believer on just honesty. Look, feelings were made on my behalf. I'm fine to, you know, get over that. I know you had a girlfriend, but I really do feel as though you shouldn't have initiated it. And instead of ghosting me, you should have just said and explained, you know what, maybe I'm just feeling bad about this, I can't carry on. Because I just feel like getting an explanation always just gives you that closure. So I feel like and then just basically wait for his reply, and just be like, look, the only reason I am messaging you is because you are my brother's friend and I don't want there to be awkwardness. So from my behalf, I obviously have to deal with my feelings, but I want you to know there's no awkwardness, and can you just explain to me, like, why he did ghost me, just so I can get a little bit of closure. And if he's a decent human being, he's gonna reply and be like, but we know all boys, well, some boys can be very immature. So if he does just blank you, it literally is because he either likes you and doesn't know how to deal with it, or he just literally doesn't know how to talk about his feelings. But then you know at least that you've done everything you could have done and you've done the right things. But yeah, I definitely think it should have just been something you didn't get involved with in the first place. I am a big believer in if you know someone's got a girlfriend or a boyfriend, you should just leave it. But on the other hand, I know when you like a boy, it is so hard to get them out of your head. So that's my advice on that. I hope it's helpful. Basically, because you know him, just be honest. And then I think that'll just give you the closure that you need. Okay, another piece of advice. So it says, I need your advice. My ex is still Snapchatting me, but I'm moving on, but I feel bad to just ignore him. In this case, it really is, it's kind to be cruel. No, it's cruel to be kind. Kind to be cruel. What am I trying to say? You know what I'm trying to say. Anyway, basically, you need to just kind of, you're right to just cut it off, because especially with exes, or you always try to be friends when one person's got feelings, and then especially girls, I know a lot of the time, like boys find it easier to just cut off. Girls do feel bad about it, but you've just got to think, you've broke up for a reason. You're not going to move on if you're still talking to him, and he's not going to move on. If he's still Snapchatting you, he still wants to talk to you, and if you're talking to him, he's just gonna think that you're okay. So I definitely would keep it cut off. I know, and if you want to, like I said in the previous point, like if you want to just like kind of give him a bit of closure and say, look, I adore you, we had a good time together, but for my own mental health and your own mental health, I really think it is good to just cut it off now. No, not saying we can never, you know, chat again in the future, but for now, just while we're getting over things, I think it's cruel for both of our feelings. And just kind of give him a little explanation of why you won't be replying to him. And then if he keeps messaging you, that's on him then, because you've explained to him what you wanted to do and you've communicated that. So if then that's just on him, and you've just got to stay true to you, follow your gut and not reply. So yeah, although you can definitely feel harsh, you've got to do what's right for you. My friend hates my boyfriend. It's annoying because she is always negative about him. Oh, I feel like this is always an awkward one when like your friends don't like your partner, because it's like, well, I like them and I'm not going to stop seeing them, and it would be nice if we could hang out together. Or even if like you can actually keep them separate, but like you say, if she keeps going on about it, it's like awkward, because it's like, well, I like them, love them, so like, oh, I really do feel for you. I'm gonna get into this one, but I need a sip of my brew. You can't beat a brew. You cannot beat a Yorkshire tea. Okay, the reason girl groups and girl friendships are always labelled as bitchy and all of this is because as girls, we're sometimes scared to just tell the truth and communicate and confront people because we think it's going to be aggressive. But you can actually talk to your friend in a really non-aggressive, non-confrontational way and get it out and have a conversation without the bitchiness. Because I feel like in this situation, what a lot of girls do is they tell like their other friends about it, and then it gets back to that girl, and they think there's been bitchiness, and then the two people never actually speak, and then they end up hating each other, and it's like, but why? So my honestly best advice after going through girl friendship breakup after friendship breakup after friendship breakup is honestly just in a very diplomatic, kind-hearted way, communicating with your friend and just being like, look, like, I love you to pieces, I do not want to lose you, and I love my boyfriend so much. You like the two most loved things in my life. I know you don't like him. I'm not gonna ask you to get on with him right now, but what would really help me out is if you just didn't be negative about him, because I like him, and if you love me as a friend, you'll just like that I'm happy. And just be like, it gets me down when you talk negatively about him. I don't hate you, I absolutely love you still. It just really gets to me when you're negative about my boyfriend. Do you know what I mean? Like how I just did that, like, you're still making them feel loved whilst you're approaching the conversation, so they're not going to get on the defensive, but you are saying your point as well. I have learned the hard way that you've got to be really diplomatic. You can't just go in there and be like, why are you being a fucking bitch? Like, leave me, like, drop it out with my boyfriend. You've got to say it in a diplomatic way because everyone has different feelings and different sensitivity, and obviously I don't know your friend. I don't know how she takes things. So I would definitely just be honest. I know all of my advice at the moment is actually just being honest, but it really is the best policy because whether or not you get the outcome you want, you're going to stop overthinking it. You're going to stop thinking, oh, but what if, you're going to, okay, that failed miserably, but I did it, I knew I was true to myself, and I have no regrets. Do you know what I mean? So it's definitely just talking with your friend. Don't let it get to a point where you like stop talking, because that's the worst thing, like losing a friend over something. How to recover after drunk texting. Oh, we've all been there. We have all been there. And it's not even the fact of like deleting the message because they still get it. Oh, I mean, what did I used to do when I did things like that? I always used to do the play off like, ha, I was drunk. I would actually, no, I would just like completely ignore it and see if they replied. If they don't reply, they've obviously seen it, they might have had a little giggle, but just don't, no communication after that, like just leave it. But if they reply, based on their reply, I just give the same kind of vibe back. If they just reply with laughing faces, I'll just be like, oh my god, I was so drunk, like, sorry. Or I'd just be like, haha, trust me to get drunk, or whatever. And just play it off, and then if they do actually reply, just play it off and act normal, basically. You've just got to accept that you did it. But I am like, if they don't reply, I don't message and go like, oh sorry, I was drunk last night. Like, just leave it. You've done it now, they've seen it, they obviously chose not to reply. But yeah, I'm just getting flashbacks to when I've done this. It's one of them. You just have to brush it off. You just have to brush it off. Remember, you're a badass girl who's just like, yeah, I just got drunk, and you just have to like brush it off. Brush. But yeah, I completely feel your pain. Just get it in the girl group chat, have a good laugh about it, forget it ever happened. Okay, so how do I deal with fake friends if they keep coming back? Now this one, I have said it in like my getting ready with me video, like my assumptions video. Like, I am someone that has like struggled with girl friendships in the past, and I feel like I've got two kinds of advice. Like, one is kind of like literally don't let them in your life. Like, don't keep letting them back in. If they keep being fake, keep being horrible, and then you let them back in and give them another chance, they're just gonna repeat the same cycle. But then the other half of me is like, if they're a good friend, like they can be a good friend, is it worth the drama? Is it worth the fallout? And that's what you've got to decide. You've just got to decide is the like fakeness and like them like obviously like lashing out however many times they do, like, is their actual friendship worth it? If it is, you're just gonna have to kind of be like, look, I don't like it when you do this or this, I love you to pieces, let's work on it. Or if you just decide, you know what, it's actually not worth it, I don't want it in my life anymore, you're just gonna have to be like, look, like, I'm not a drama person, and I feel like I get a lot of drama from this friendship, so I just need a little bit of time, you know, to just back away. Now, it obviously never happens like that because no one is brave enough to say that to someone, so then you just like cut them out and stop talking to them. And I learned that the hard way. I had a friend that was actually a really good friend to me, but then it got to the point where I couldn't cope with the friendship at that time because it was very full on. I feel like she made a few mistakes and used me for a couple of things, and could be fake but could also be a really good friend, and I just completely cut her out because I was just like, I can't deal with this anymore. And at the time I was like, I'm doing the right thing, because if I just like answer the phone or text, I know we'll go back to square one, because I wasn't brave enough to be like, look, I love you, I want to be friends with you, but don't do this. So at the time I thought I was doing the right thing by just cutting her out, but then obviously that whole person never has an explanation why your friend has just stopped talking to you. And at the time I didn't realise that. Fast forward a year, karma came my way, and one of my best friends of like 7 years just completely cut contact with me. Like, completely cut contact. I kept trying to reach out and message her, and obviously she had just decided, you know, I wasn't meant to be in her life anymore, but at the time I didn't know why, and I was trying to hold on to this friendship, and I was like, just tell me if I've done something wrong, like blah blah blah, and she didn't, and she just cut me out. And it made me think of the year before of what I'd done, and I was like, wow, like this really hurts. It really hurts just not getting that explanation or closure, or you know, it hurts to just not even get the, you know what, I can't be friends with you anymore, because at least then you just know. So I like reached out to this other person and apologized, and I said, look, like I'm not in here to try be a friend, or like I'm just saying like I'm sorry the way I did it. So yeah, I think even though it can be hard to say to someone, look, I just can't be friends with you anymore, it is the best way to go, because you've got to think about that other person's feelings if you're just cutting them out. Imagine it like if a boy just ghosted you. Imagine if your best friend just ghosted you. So definitely talk to them, even though it can be a really tricky situation, because you don't want them to like agree or disagree or start an argument, but you just kind of have to, like I said before, like diplomatically bring it up and just say, look, you hurt me when you do this. Like if we're gonna be friends, you need to stop doing that, and just kind of like talk to them. Okay, so the last one for this video, I have actually got quite a few that have come through, so I'm gonna, like I said, do a second video on this. If you have liked it, please like and subscribe, and stay tuned for part 2. I hope I'm giving good advice, but yeah. So this last one is how to get over a breakup from a long-term boyfriend who you still love in lockdown. I really feel for you. There's nothing worse than when you still really like a boy. And I obviously have never gone through a breakup from a long-term person that I loved. I only ever went through it after seeing someone or talking to someone for like weeks or a couple of months, and I found it so hard. So I can only imagine what you're going through. And I mean, there's loads of like breakup tips I can give you. I just feel like it's a case of just when you've accepted it, you've accepted it. I mean, there's like definitely distractions help. Like when you get on your own, that's when you start getting sad and overthinking it. And although you do need some time on your own to self-reflect and look at the relationship to get closure, definitely like 85% of the time, you need to be distracting yourself. Like start a good Netflix series, FaceTime your friends. Like I hope you've got good friends that are there for you and can support you, or family members. Just taking your mind off it. Like definitely find a hobby of something you love, because one of the worst things is like when you've been in this relationship with someone, you did all the things you love together, so everything's gonna remind you of them. So my number one tip is like finding something that you didn't do together, whether it's a new thing or whether it's something that you never really did because they didn't like it, and start doing that for you, and that'll help you just like work on yourself. You'll be doing something you really like, so it's just taking your mind off it. Definitely feel good playlists. I am in the finishing stages of my feel good playlist. I remember when I finished talking to a boy and he just like ghosted me, I listened to Me, Myself and I like over and over and over. I was like, me, myself, and I would just dance. And I remember listening to Boy, I'm all cried out. I wasn't all cried out, but I was like, I listened to it on repeat for a week. Because every time it came on, I was like, yeah, I'm feeling myself. I mean, that's obviously like my own mechanism of like dealing with it. And I'd put Beyonce on and I'd be like, yeah, I don't need you. I was very much I don't need you, and that's how I got over things. But I completely understand that everyone's different. That's why I just think definitely doing something that you love and just taking your mind off it. Like, I am so lucky that I have like my sisters, and I feel like if I ever went through something like that, like they would just 100% be there for me. They'd call me, I'd text them, and yeah. Also as well, really get into like journaling, like writing down your feelings, because it really does just help. Whether it's good feelings or bad feelings, it just helps you to get them out. Don't suppress your feelings. Like cry it out some days. You're gonna need to cry it out. Be happy the next day. Don't feel bad for feeling happy, and don't feel bad for feeling sad. Let all your emotions out, because that's the only way you're gonna have to deal with it. But yeah, that's my advice on that. I really feel for you. I'm sending you all my love. But yeah, so that was Agony Aunt Appleton. I hope I've helped. I hope I've just shared maybe whether it was some of my life experiences, whether it was some good advice, whether you're going to take something away from this or not, whether you can relate to one of the dilemmas that came in. I will make a part 2, because I just feel like these are really good, helpful videos, and we all go through some crazy stuff in life. So yeah. But if you did like this video, I do have some more chatty style videos. I have my get ready with me and chat. I have answering your assumptions. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.